Where all my Billy Clan members at? Watching for the days of fashion, tuning in from day to day, wondering what Billy doing next. Fashion, money, stacks and stacks. Go get y'all, I go y'all back. It's the 11th day, the 11th day, the 11th day. Welcome back, Billy Clan. Welcome back, Chickadees. Before we get started, make sure y'all like, comment, share, and subscribe. And let's get into it. So today we're going to be talking about how I gather inspiration from various sources such as Women's Wear Daily, Instagram, ideas, dreams, TikTok, nature, and more. Let's start with Women's Wear Daily. So if you all do not know, Women's Wear Daily is a daily news outlet for fashion for women, and they show all the different trends. And another thing I like to utilize, and what I'm starting to utilize, is Pantone. So Pantone is a site where we can see what colors are currently trending. At the moment, it is aquamarine, and it's such a beautiful color. It's just, oh, it's just such a pretty color. What I would do first from Women's Wear Daily is I would go to the site and type in or just browse the whole entire outlet. That's how I get to see what's trending, and that's how I get my creative juices flowing. After I browse Women's Wear Daily, I will go into my creative bubble and I will sit there and sit with my thoughts and see what comes to mind. I will write my ideas down, and then once I solidify my ideas to ultimately create it later on. As far as TikTok, there's various things. They have the TikTok shop, different things are trending. So if I see something, I'll say, for instance, I'll see the little waterfall dresses, or something with some dress with a cutout, or like some godettes. I saw that a lot last month, the beginning of this month. I saw a lot of the godettes with the triangular piece cut out, and I'm like, you know what, that's really interesting, that's really cool, I could do something with that. And then I will take that idea, write it down, and then sketch something. For Instagram, I would do similar things. I really like couture. I'm starting to like Robert One. If you know, you know. Robert One, he won the ones. Yeah, I love Schiaparelli. Very beautiful garments, very beautiful dresses, creative, everything. I like what Pharrell is doing for Louis V. I recently saw on Instagram a JPG post of where they had like this, it was a mauve dress or like a burgundy dress, and there was like a cutout right here, and it kind of resembled a flower vase. So I found it to be really unique, really cool. I'm really inspired by the luxury and old school vehicles, the whole silhouette and the colors and the different, they really actually played with colors and designs back in the day with the different vehicles. They really show artistic values. As far as nature has a lot of different inspiration, from flowers to birds to trees. I like to use the less common aspects of nature, like buildings, cracks in the ground, grass, plains, things like that, because there's just so much that can be done. Since flowers and birds are always used in fashion, I like to try to just wean away from that. When I'm looking from different sources of inspiration, I like to see what's being done, so I could just take that and tweak it somehow, or take that idea and just do the opposite of it in some aspect, way, shape, or form. So for instance, with the JP dress that resembles the flower vase at the top, you can make the entire dress a whole flower vase. Like, you can make a big old bubble dress, and it's like clear, but like with some like nude undergarments or like skin tone undergarments underneath, and you can have like flowers coming up right here, and maybe like a little ribbon around the waist, something like that. That's something that I would take that idea and do it my way. Like, I will Billify it. The thing I also like to do is to take previous ideas and sketches and see how I can rework those into something new and more modern to match what's going on with the trends. For instance, if I take inspiration from what the trending color is, aquamarine, I can brainstorm different aquamarine objects, and I can see, okay, let me create something that has this silhouette, or has this print, or has this style, or something like that. That's what I would do when it comes to using colors. Colors are another source of inspiration for me. Let me know in the comments if y'all also use colors, because that could be your whole thing. If you look up baby pink objects on Pinterest or like on Google, different objects and stuff are going to come up. And then what you can do is you can save those objects, put them onto the same thing. You can either print it out and put it all on a board, or you can just transfer them all on your laptop to Canva and just look at it all together. From there, once you've gotten all the images in one place, that's when you can start to really let your ideas flow. That's something I also like to do, to step back and look at everything. And even sometimes I get new inspiration and I get new ideas just by leaving something alone. I could start a mood board, or I could just start a sketch, or just writing down something, and then like I'll step away from it, and then I'll wait till I get inspired again and finish the thoughts. I tend to overindulge in a lot of fashion content on Instagram because I told myself that in order to be like a really, really good designer and really to stay in the know of fashion, I have to like eat, breathe, and sleep it. Like I have to always be engaging it and consuming it. And I get inspiration from looking at different videos and pictures. And even though some of them are AI, I'm really not too fond of AI. In my opinion, I feel like AI is really taking away people's ability to think on their own and think creatively. And to me, that's really problematic. Yeah, it can help with basic things, but I don't feel like it should do the entire thinking process and designing process for you. Eventually, sketching and pattern drafting is going to be a lost art. That will all be due to AI, unfortunately. That's another thing when it comes to inspiration. How to stay relevant in the midst of AI being on the forefront. Cut some time in half, or just remove us from doing time at all, period. And say, for instance, if people utilize robots in place of models. Oh, that's another thing I wanted to mention. News. The news inspiration, like what's going on in the news and everything, that's also inspiration for me as well. And I'm going to tell you why. So, just like Women's Wear Daily, you see what's going on, what's happening currently, what's happening globally, locally, everything like that. As you can see, there's many places to get inspiration from for fashion. Women's Wear Daily provides me with all kinds of information that I need that's happening currently in the fashion field, as far as even a few months back to today. Instagram, lots of ongoing fashion ideas, even with the presence of AI, generated fashion ideas to really get those creative juices flowing. TikTok, they show what's trending, what people are buying right now. That can also help you with deciding what to create and what to draw for people to wear. CNN and daily news channels keep you in tune with what's going on in the world, and also in the fashion industry, or in industries that can ultimately affect the fashion industry. Previous thoughts and sketches from months or even years ago helped me to fine-tune those sketches and ideas to make them more modern and on trend, or to even begin a new trend, because everything isn't about keeping up with the trend. When it comes to fashion, you always want to make sure that you're above the trend. So you want to be the one creating the trend versus as a designer. Dreams, ideas, and that goes for daydreams. If you're a daydreamer and you get all your ideas that way, that can also be your source of inspiration. Use those ideas and write them down. Keep a journal. I keep a small little journal. And sometimes even keeping it open will allow you to get some ideas generated. But also make sure when you write down these ideas, make sure that you're keeping them somewhere private. Make sure you don't tell anyone your ideas. And also make sure you're acting on your ideas as soon as possible. Sometimes you may have an idea right now, and what you need to carry out the idea, you may not have the funding to do it. You might not have all the resources to do it. And that's fine. But as long as you make sure you write it down and date the ideas as well. So make sure you keep your notebook or use your notes app. With that being said, I hope y'all learned something today. I hope y'all look at fashion and what's going on around you in a different light, and using your resources and social media and news and nature and your ideas, your brain. Use your brain, guys. Use your brain. I'm telling you. Your ideas, stop sleeping on your ideas. Use your ideas, okay? You were given ideas for a reason. You were given a brain for a reason. And also stop trying to be somebody else. Stop trying to be somebody else, because they can't do what you do. They are not as equipped mentally or physically like you are to do what needs to be done. Don't sleep on yourself, because that very idea that you think is not going to work is going to end up working. It's going to do numbers online. It's going to do numbers when it comes to sales. You just have to get started. You just have to write down the idea, carry out the idea, and sit back and watch it work. If stuff does not go right, then you just look at that as a learning opportunity. You also got to change your mentality when it comes to you carrying on your creative ideas. Of course, everybody isn't going to be too fond of what you're doing, and that's okay, because you don't be fond of everything everybody else do. So that's all right. But don't give up. Don't give up. Keep using that good brain of yours and keep coming up with good ideas. And there's going to be one idea. That's what I'm saying. It only takes one person, one idea, one opportunity, one step. It only takes one, and you can change your life. But you gotta stop sleeping on yourself. You gotta stop sleeping. If you sleeping on yourself, listen. If you sleeping on yourself, wake up. You being different is what's gonna set you apart. You trying to be like everybody else, and come like, oh, well, you just another this person, you just another that person. How you gonna stand out? That's another thing you need to ask yourself. How are you gonna stand out? In a world of many designers, big and small, intermediate, how are you going to stand out against all of them? Think about that. I'm going to leave you with that. And on that note, thank y'all for watching 40 Days of Fashion, day 11. Come back for day 12. And make sure y'all stay until day 40. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'm going to talk to y'all tomorrow.